What's up, people? I'm just going to try to keep this short and sweet. I want to answer one specific email. What's up with the dry ships? Well, if you hear the song in the background, this is Ship of Fools by the Grateful Dead. You want to know what's wrong with dry ships and why I've called it a spec play all along, looking for a comeback? The stock, and I think I might have mentioned this in another video of mine, dry ships shouldn't be allowed to be trading on the national NASDAQ exchange. This stock should not even be on the bulletin boards. This stock might be a pink sheet stock one day. The only reason that there is just any reason that the stock still has a bid to it is because guys like me want to be part of it, because when a company is this hated and there is a slight chance, a slight glimmer of hope of a potential turnaround, you want to be on that stock at the ground floor, which is at these levels. Now, we were looking for a catalyst to get the dry ships moving, and we got it. They had a decent earnings quarter. What new venture they're into with the oil drilling has seemed to spark some interest in the company, where they're able to generate a profit. But let's not forget that the company has diluted their stock to pretty much nothingness. Also, any money that they borrow, they quickly spend on something else, some new ventures. Let's not forget their fleet of vessels that are rusting in the ocean with nobody needing them. And let's not mostly forget is that we had the catalyst. Did I just allude to that a second ago? We had the catalyst. The stock went from 420 to 5, then next thing you know, 550 to 6. And we were actually breaking 615, which was a brick wall. It's to 635. I think it hit 640. And what did it do? On a dime, reversed, went back down, had no support whatsoever. Next thing you know, we're back below 5. This is a stock that is not loved. It is maybe the worst stock there is on the NASDAQ exchange, because after rallying all through 08, 09, and whatever, 2010, if you have a stock, and I talked to you about that, it's called relative strength. When you have a stock that doesn't participate in a rally, you have a relatively weak stock. Normally something you don't want to be involved with. Now I'm just talking about 1 or 2 days. Let's say the NASDAQ's up 30, the Dow's up 80, and your stock did nothing for the day. Okay, so you had a relative weak stock for the day. Then a week goes by and the market's still strong and your stock's not participating. That's the same thing that's been happening on dry ships for 2.5 years now, people. Please, don't have any illusions anymore. It's basically you're betting that there'll be a turnaround in the company, maybe next year, a year after that. But there is a good chance that the stock will go to zero. Zero. No ifs, ands, or buts. They'll finally say we don't have enough money to keep business afloat. Zero. Then it'll open up into pink sheets at 0.00006, and there'll still be speculators out there buying the stock. But if you own it at $4 or $5, because of me, I have to tell you right now, I hope you got in to that stock with the right pretense. I hope you knew what you were getting yourselves into. Now, of course, I can't fault myself completely, because when I told you to hold on to stocks, I've also told you to hold on to the Adobes and the Jabills, and obviously the list goes on and on and on, and the OCZs. And that would have made the dry ships just a little fart in your portfolio, and you'd be loving life right now still. Also, don't forget that you have to remember who you are. Are you an investor? Are you looking at long-term appreciation? Are you looking for short-term swing trades? Are you looking to be a day trader? That's one of the most important things that you have to establish. Now, right now, when we get to T3 Live, we're going to be specifically talking only about day trading and what those stocks are doing for the day, because 90% of our money, we want to have that liquid at the end of the day, if that's the direction that you want to take your stock market, Wall Street market goals of your life. You have to figure out what exactly you want to do and how long you want to do it in. If you're looking to generate income every day and become a day trader, and you sit by my side and you're going to hear what I talk about all day, you are going to be outstanded. Outstanded? Outraged? What word am I looking for here? You're going to be amazed. Amazed, because just from the last couple of days sitting there, every single trade I didn't do and just talked about worked out. I'm not talking about half, 60%. Every single trade so far that I've turned to the guy over to my left of me or looked across the board, hey, took a look at this, or typed it in the chat room, every single one has worked out. It's because I know right now I'm trying to just be very conservative and, not get into anything too much. And most of all, I've been looking for a sell-off. Now, you're saying, hey, you got your sell-off. This is nothing. If the market is actually going to sell off, I'm looking for the Qs to touch 54.20. So basically we've pulled back, I think we got down to 55.10 or 55.20, something to that effect. I don't know the price off the top of my head. But there has to be for me to become an investor again and to add to positions. Yes, there's some stocks that are getting to the point where I might want to get involved again, but I need an overall flushing of the market to feel comfortable to get back into stocks. And I'm telling you, I'm going to become more of a swing trader, more of an investor. And what I'm going to be talking about at T3 Live is going to be those day trades. And I tell you something, and I've known this for 15 years since I've been trading, if I just talk about it and I don't do the trades, I see them much more correctly. And it's up to you to have the discipline and the patience to let what I say and my guidance help you. Okay? And obviously I'm going to be talking about a lot of positions. We're going to be talking about whatever comes up. And obviously I can just say, I can just keep spewing and spewing things. But no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try to stay just as if I was trading. Looking for those 85% winners. Looking for the reversals. Looking for the stocks that are breaking highs from the previous day. Looking for the same thing on the downside. Stocks that are breaking down. Stocks that are relatively strong, relatively weak. You're going to follow along. Now here's the thing. Hit the Bid is probably going to be deceased within 2 weeks. Now everybody that joined the website, I have your email address. If you want to participate in T3 and still watch my videos and go live and then watch what we're going to do on these Friday afternoon rap shows, there's going to be a fee each month. Now for your typical guy, if you just watch my videos just for laughs and you're not a real trader, maybe paying $100 a month is not for you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys a month for free. 1 month. I think right now they offer a 2-week free trial, so you're going to have free access to the website for 1 full month. 1 full month to see what goes on, to listen to Redler, to listen to Sperling, to listen to Evan. You're going to be able to listen to all the top traders, and you'll be able to get to me. Right now, I'm looking at myself as the court jester of T3. Because again, I can't take this seriously anymore. I'm a shell of the guy that I used to be. But what I can do is provide all the knowledge that I've got, all the experience that I have, talk about the flaws in what I look at and what I do, and all the negative experiences, what I've had, I'm going to tell you about them so then you can learn from that and don't make the same mistakes I do. And here's the thing about it, you're still going to make those mistakes. That's the incredible thing. No matter what happens, I still make the same mistakes over and over again as if I never made them before. That's my problem. And I think it's because mostly my biggest mistakes are more of a missed opportunity than getting into a stock at a bad entry. And right now it's very difficult to lose money on the long side. Obviously, if you bought one of those high-flying stocks and they've corrected, you might be sitting on a 10 or 15 point loss. But those are only a handful of stocks, or a 10% pullback in a stock. So if you bought something at 22 and now it's at 19, you're not feeling too good about yourself. But you know what? If you got into it as a swing trade, you should be buying more, looking at your support lines, buying more, and then getting ready for the next leg up. Because this is not the top. There is no top. The Dow Jones, now that we're about to cross 12,000, the next 1,000 points is going to be that much more easy. We'll be at 13,000 before you know it. And then we're at 13,000, we'll be at 14,000. And all your S&P levels that are resistance, that will not be resistance anymore. And all the talk about whether or not the future is this bright or whether the recovery is that bright. That leads me back to the dry ships, because if the recovery is so fantastic as the stock market is telling us, why isn't anybody shipping anything? Ship it. Ship that shit. So the underlying wavelength in my head is that this is all smoke and mirrors. But you can't fight it. That's why you look for your stocks. We saw US Steel made a nice run from 48 bucks to 60, cratered back down to 52 and change. That was our buy. We hit 52.85, which was our buy signal. Came in a little bit more. Next thing you know, we're right back down. We're right back to $57. And they reported earnings. We don't have to worry about that anymore. Apparently, the earnings reports were good enough. And now we can move on from here. Onward and upward. Onward and upward to Dow 20,000. And it's going to happen. And the NASDAQ is going to lead the way. Because Google and Apple will get back into gear. Amazon, whatever they say in their earnings report, they'll go down and they'll shake it off just like they did last year. Then we got the Netflix, whatever they say, the stock will either go down or up, and then they'll readjust it over the next couple of days. I can't see any reason for the market ever to go down in our lifetimes again. And how stupid, how irresponsible that sounds. Every time for the last 6 months that I thought the market was about to roll over, not that we were going to start a new bear market, not that we were actually going to go down and break the trend, but even a 3-day sell-off is virtually impossible right now. A 3-day sell-off. We still haven't had a 3-day sell-off. We've had 2.5 days. We've had 2 days. We've had half a day. Sometimes we can't even. Like today, I was amazed that the market actually tried to go down twice, but what happened? We still closed at the highs of the day. It's just unbelievable. And the reason I say that this is better than 1999, in 1999 it was you didn't know what to expect because they were saying everything was new, we didn't need earnings per share. Now we're in a market where we have a goal. We're just getting back to where we came from. And now that everything's all right, that goal seems so easily achievable. Maybe we'll have a little problem when we get back to all-time highs on the Dow and the S&P. The NASDAQ's going to take a little bit longer because a lot of those stocks have faded away into nothingness, and Cisco's probably not going to be an $80 stock again, and Sun Microsystems and Intel and all those companies are not going to be going back to where they came from. But you know what they'll do? They'll readjust the weightings of the Qs, and they'll readjust some stuff, and they'll get the NASDAQ back to 5,000. Don't you worry about that either. Because the government does not like the fact that investors just wasted 10 years of their lives. And now the next 10 years are going to be retarded. Obviously, if we don't blow up in December of 2012. But my 2012 theory comes true. We just go up every single day. Till then, we'll have 1 or 2 down days every month or so. But right now, I think the market trapped enough people like me again. I mean, I shorted some Qs again at 57. I'm thinking I'm finally cost averaging. I'm going to get out of some of this at a profit. Obviously not. We're going to be back to 57 tomorrow, and I'm probably going to finally wind up covering. And now I know you're frightened because I'm finally going to give up shorting the market. Not as a hedge, not at all. It's going to be struck, done, ripped out from my vernacular. I will never short a stock. I will look for one particular situation. I mean, I'll tell you about shorting stocks, but I will never press the left side of the keyboard. I will never hit the left side of my box. I will never short again. That's bullshit. Of course I will. But you know how frustrating it is. Just imagine I would have stayed short the FSLR. Next thing you know, I took a $1,500 profit and turned it into a 10 grand loss. You can't stay short. It's like fighting a lost cause. And that's all I could say. There are the stocks like the Limelights and the Dry Ships that prove that nothing always goes up. But the majority is everything is going straight up and will never stop. Okay, so about the T3 Live, what we're going to do is every night I'm probably going to come on. If you guys want to hang out with me at night, we'll talk and I'll tell you about what we're going to do. And we'll move you guys from Hit the Bid over to T3 Live as easy and as painless as it can be. All right, have a good night.
I would much prefer Krull.